What are you doing? Yeah, go. Alright, great start. It's TV. Lots of items there. Let up the job to really make it happen now. But Eric Outmaster should be joining us. Cat shortly. Meantime, we're going to get started without him just for this game one. It's a TVC. Kind of hoping first game would be a CBC, just so that it's out too much. And I guess. So in the top left, as the blue Terran, we have Sass Non. And in the bottom right, as the purple, sorry, the Protoss, the white Protoss, we have I Am Ket. Now, I certainly don't know anything about I Am Ket, new player for me, so I can't say anything about that. Non is a pretty decent Terran player. Oh, it would appear that Ket plays StarCraft. Well, there you go. Okay. So, Non is a pretty decent player, Terran player for SAS. Obviously outshined a little bit by Skylin, who's a very, very excellent Terran player on SAS, but Non gets results when he's needed to. Definitely Non. I mean this in the best way possible. Non is like the worst player on SAS. And I say that not because Non's a bad player. Non's a pretty good player. But SAS is just such a small and such a really talented roster. Non would be in the top half of a lot of other rosters, because a lot of other rosters have very big rosters with a lot of people on it. So Non is ahead of them, but SAS' roster is really small. But as I was saying, certainly capable of getting wins. Dare I say he's even the favorite. Neither player doing anything too remarkable at the moment. Protoss skipping the first zealot, going straight for the core, and Terran getting a fast gas. Absolutely normal. Doesn't look like the Terran has intentions of taking his natural anytime soon. Placed his barracks very close to the command center, and you do that. Typically, the reason you want to place your barracks there is if you want to build a bunker. If for some reason the Protoss are doing a lot of aggression, you could build a bunker and it would cover your barracks and your command center and your refinery. Wouldn't quite cover that supply depot, but any kind of super heavy zealot aggression means you can kind of sacrifice a supply depot like that. That's fine. More important just to block off probe abilities. It is in fact the rest of one. We did not see either of these players.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Sorry for the delay. It's a little bit slow driving back. There was an accident and slowed down traffic and stuff.
Alright. We're like 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, finish casting this one and then I'll hop in.
Alright. Good to know Eric's there. So, the factory is just finishing up for Non. As I was just saying, and we didn't have a chance to see either of these two players last week. And for these two teams, SAS beat IFU. I believe the score was 4-2. And IM lost the lag free, and that's what was 4-1. So, SAS, I mean, it's obviously early in the season, so any team can turn it around. But you really think that SAS wants to keep up the pressure. Only top 4 teams go through, and dropping to 1-1, puts it difficult to keep pace with the other teams, especially considering that you got to pick up the wins against quote-unquote weak teams. Meanwhile, IM starting off 0-1, falling down to 0-2 does make it very difficult. Last week we saw both of the teams that lost again, and both the teams that won again. So we're starting to create a thing. And if you fall into the bottom half of that rift, it becomes hard to overcome that and surpass a team that's already 2 games ahead of you already by the second week. SCB scouts in, sees 2 gateways and the core spinning. Nothing fancy for the Protoss here. Definitely a little bit safer than getting out a second gateway. I think that second gateway didn't quite start before the Nexus, but it was rather similarly timed. Meanwhile, over on the Terran side, pushing out with the FD. So, the one thing I'm a little bit worried about is that the goons are really far back for our Protoss player here. Normally you want your goons very far forward so that you can start to whittle down the FD. That's really the secret to defeating the FD. You just gotta keep damaging the Marines, without taking tank shots, kind of like we just saw there. Little similar maneuvers like that. Not the best micro, but it's things like that. The key is to be doing that across the entire map. The FD is actually coming out a little bit sooner than it used to. Terran getting rather aggressive here, and it's just across out of the map at all, and that's going to cost him. The mine is going to get blown up, but this is on the mines, the less he's focusing on the tanks and the Marines. Whatever he does here, he's just going to take damage. And now there are mines all the way into his natural. Are they going to activate that mine? No. Oh, very close there. But now there's just one tank that remains, and the vultures, but the mine coming up. Ooh, big mine hit. But he loses the tank, getting a little bit too aggressive there. Thinking maybe he could get another full health. It just came out. And it looks like he loses a lot of dragoons, but no economic damage at all. Holds the FD. I'm going to count that as a minor loss because a little bit different micro there, the game could have ended. That FD was very strong. Protoss did not have the map positioning. So trading the goons away for a vulture, a tank, and a handful of Marines, I think it's a little bit at a loss economically, but it's still good overall. I'm taking that as Protoss. Terran is not without advantage, though. Terran's able to set up the expansion very, very safely, and has mines at the front. Protoss cannot move out until out of inventory. Priest's first observer allows the robot to use the first observer, which is coming out just now. Interesting. Terran's going to be mining up the bottom left base. Obviously, mining up Expos is good. Want to prevent Protoss from being able to take it, and if they do take it, then you know that something's up. But interestingly, he didn't go for either that at the middle probably or the third over at the over on the right-hand side of the map. Those are a lot more common bases. That's a mine just to prevent the hidden base, which is interesting. If you do plant it, if you do plant it over very close to the Protoss, it's going to be able to demine it really quickly. And you're kind of expecting the Protoss is going to take that. There's not a whole lot you can do to stop that. The Protoss is going to get a third base on this map, that's fine. But if you took that hidden form, or even took that as a weird hidden form for that reason, that's a very functional base. So maybe Non's thinking, I can't do a whole lot about the right base, but I could stop that left base. So I'm going to put detection over the left base, because that's the only thing I can do anyway. We see one turret and some mines set up. A little bit of very early drop grass defense. Good. Playing cautious, I like it. And actually, we do have a shuttle along the way, along with Zealot speed being researched. So it's possible we might see a little bit of that. Obviously, he can just use the Zealots for Zealot bombs. But pays to be safe. Pays to be safe. So now, Protoss definitely does want to be getting a third up, and as I say that, he just does now throw down the Nexus. So that's good. Staying even bases on a Terran is really dangerous. It really sets yourself up for a situation where I have one attack, and I better win with this one attack, because the Terran going to kill me otherwise. But after getting that base, Protoss does need a little bit of an economic advantage to beat a Terran in almost all cases, unless they have a ridiculous tech advantage and can do some weird timing attack. But no, continuing with the standard. Terran now sending out some vultures. I do like to see this. Alright. Apparently siege tanks in SC2 have the same range. I do like to see Terran moving out. At this stage in the game, oftentimes that's all you can do, because you're not going to be moving across the map with your tanks. So you want to outward to channel all your APM, and that's it. Even if your vultures go and die like that, you're still causing the Protoss to react. You're still getting the opportunity to do damage, and that's really what you're looking for here. I really do like Terran players sending out vultures. I kind of wish I kind of wish Non was doing it a little bit more. But anyway, Protoss moving out once again. Moving out again. That's not going to be a force big enough to push against 5-6 siege tanks up a cliff. That is technically a cliff here. You just have to get in very close to the APs without that high ground. Now sweeping around, this is going to be a better angle to attack from, but it does mean that the siege tanks are in a little bit better position. So I think all Protoss can do is this: just make sure that there's not a fourth, and back off. That is the third base up for Terran, though, taking a mineral only. Now, it's not the same way that Zerg needs gas, but Terran does need gas a bit more than minerals. So mineral only for Terran as a third, super strong. A Protoss would be in a lot better position to have a mineral only third. What it does mean, though, is you can change your style of play to reflect that a little bit, and just build more units that cost less gas, i.e. vultures. And we actually see him now 4 factories without add-ons. So 4 factories just producing vultures. It looks like he is adjusting his style of play on the map. I like that a lot. And hopefully we're going to see some more of that vulture grass I was just talking about there. If you're going to take a mineral only, you just got to build more vultures than you want to. Or more vultures than you would in another situation. It's the only way you're going to keep your minerals down. Unless you're going to use all those minerals for turrets, I guess? Be kind of weird. Alright. So now this is a little bit scarier than before. So we got the shuttle. It's completely loaded up, so there's more zealots than it looks like. Along with a good number of dragoons. Yeah, he's asking a lot of questions. But with his units, and every time he's asked a question, his units are kind of in position to attack. I'm wondering if he's just asking questions to have, like, he's setting up, testing it a little bit. Maybe. Because the last time he asked questions, it was immediately before he said, Xisheng's Emimpa, or have him in range, right? I think I'm remembering that correctly. Anyway, we finally have speed upgrade. It's going to make them a lot scarier, being able to dart around the Protoss and laying lots of mines around the map. Very, very good. You understand where the Protoss is. And if you see them come up here and start to activate a minefield, oh, you do know that the army's moving in that direction. So it might give you the opportunity to move out, or at least to send vultures to harass coming down the bottom of the map. Units are positioning here. The vulture does get cleaned up at the top. Well, about there we go. Get cleaned up. Got cleaned up at the top right. So he does know that base is up there. And as I said, Protoss should really be working hard to stay ahead of Terran bases. So that base is taken. Terran finally starting to move out now. Terran, interestingly, up to nearly 150 supply, 0 upgrades. There is an armory, and it's spinning. That attack upgrade is getting close to being done. That's relatively late. Specifically in this league, but overall we've seen Terran and Protoss players did too in this matchup going for much faster upgrades. It's a little bit odd to see both players this time going for much slower upgrades, focusing on bigger quantities. And in fact, it looks like Protoss is significantly behind in terms of upgrades. Also has no upgrades, but +1 is significantly less than half done. That's a lot of siege tanks. Unsiege them. Get the shot off. Oh, now again, and Terran is completely unsieged, so they have a good shot here to do some damage. Zealot bombs onto the tanks. This is as good of an engagement as Protoss is going to get. Ready for Zealots to drop? No, he dropped Zealots. Really didn't get the huge flashes he needed. And it looks like Protoss is going to back off. I think Protoss got the better end of that engagement. They did kill off a lot of Terran stuff, but man, that was such a good engagement. That's the best Protoss can hope for. Terran unsieged, moving up to an aggressive position, and you attack then, so they have to siege while you're shooting at them. Zealot gets in, drops the bombs off. I'm surprised the shuttle gets in, drops the bombs off. I'm surprised the bombs didn't do more. I thought the bombs were going to be enormous. But damn, nothing. Still, definitely like that. Terran though, Protoss could try to hold this high ground pod, but I think it'd be a mistake. Terran's just going to be able to pinch you down all day on it. And if you retreat, you're retreating off to the opposite side of the high ground pod. I think Protoss just needs to run here. Unless they can go for another really good engagement. The shuttle is loaded up again with 4 zealots. What do we got for tech? We have the Arbiter out. We have 2 Arbiters on the way, and just based off of the timing, I don't think he had stasis. Oh no, he has had stasis. It's out. Okay. Never mind, take it back. Stasis are done, recalls on the way. And Terran now setting up their 4th base. Just about to finish here. Now, based on the TVP we've seen on this map, that thought, the Arbiters, they don't have energy! The Arbiters don't have energy for the stasis! I don't even know if it's research. This is a huge engagement going in without energy. The Zealots dropping the shuttle once again, not doing a lot of damage to the tanks, like putting them in red, but not killing them off. I wonder if he's dropping them too fast. Like the splash kills all the Zealots, but doesn't kill the tanks, maybe? Maybe he needs to stagger the drops a little bit? I'm not sure. Wrong with Zealot drops. But man, going for that big engagement, your Arbiters, they were at 85 energy. You need to wait 15 seconds. Had 2 stasises. Oh, man. 2 stasises on that clumped up of tanks? Easy win for Protoss. Unquestionable win for Protoss. Ugh. Man. So, 4 base versus 4 base right now. Protoss does have a gas at their 4th base that they haven't taken yet, where Terran has a mineral only base, and a mineral only base only has minerals. You can hardly call it a base. It's like half a base. But, normally, just based off of what resources both races need, I think that that race would be first. You think that the Terran would go through the gas and the Protoss would be okay taking the mineral only. It doesn't have so much to do with what resources they need. It has to do with what base they can take. Protoss can afford to take a base way the fuck out in the corner. A lot more than the Terran can. As I say that, Terran's taking on the left, so they're going to try. But it's a lot harder than that. Army just doesn't get into position to defend as well, where Protoss as easily does. Not super easily, but decently easily. So, if they can take a gas, sure, Protoss will use gas. You can add some armors. It's easier to make. Maybe even some storms. Feeling particularly good tonight today. It looks like Protoss is doing it again. This isn't a army. You gotta get the stasises off. There we go. One big stasis. You gotta have more stasises than that, I would think, buddy. There's a stasis on a single tank in the back lines. Oh man, there's so many tanks coming back. You're gonna hit the big stasis, but the stasis is so late. But will it matter? Protoss is just pushing. The stasis is already out on the tanks. More resources for Terran to come. And I don't think that there's no way Protoss is enough to deal with this. The stasises came out a little bit too late. The tanks in the back did a lot of damage. Oh, Protoss well. And Terran aren't that big. Terran, they spread out their tanks. That's good, but actually might have spread them out a little bit too much. A lot of those tanks didn't engage in the entirety of the fight. And now, it looks like Protoss will take this fight with the tanks stasising in the back. And actually, stasising in a really strong position. More Protoss have to come up and take them out. Terran, players just throwing units into this meat grinder, trying to figure out a way to win this engagement one way or the other. Terran has stopped scanning. I don't think they have energy for scan or the back. Micro's lacking or what? The units are just going to pick off the tanks. Oh man, it looks like Protoss will win just because of Undercloak. Yeah, there we go. Finally getting that scan off. I actually, now that the battle's over, really want to just quickly go through. No energy. No energy. Oh, okay. One of the comsats did have energy. But I guess all of the comsats he had bind to Hawk, he's more out of energy. Man. He used a lot of scan in that fight. You saw scans going down over and over and over again. He just ran out of it. That's another reason for the Science Fest. So you talk about how Science Fest is countered arbiters, and mostly when people talking about that, they're talking about that EMP. You gotta get the shot off before Protoss. You gotta get the shot off before Protoss can get their stasis. But it also just makes it so you don't need to scan every 3 seconds. Or however long it is. I don't know how long units stay detected after scan. It's more than 3 seconds. I don't think it's quite 10 though. I think it's somewhere between 5 and 7 if I had to guess. Arbiter moving in. Arbiter moving into the 4th base, flying over some mines. Mine vision is limited, probably saw it though. And oh man, there's no defense here. Recall, huge recall. But a very quick evac. I think he was prepared for it, at least disable the SCVs. SCV's not going to take hardly any damage at all, but the stuff's still going to die. And the D-Matrix Vulture. There's an unnecessary D-Matrix there. I think it just indicates that he has reserve EMP. If you had reserve EMP, you would save energy for that. I can take out of that right there. Oh, lagging! Nah, but these are going to get cleared up. And actually, really successful D-Matrix on the Vulture. They're going to waste all their shots there. Basically, no damage done to the actual line, but took out that base. That being said, the bottom left base that Terran took, still standing, still completely unmolested, and I don't think Protoss even knows about it. So that maneuver just put them back on even footing. It did not gain Protoss an advantage here. And now Protoss really needs to start thinking about more bases. Mind out in the main, almost mind out in the natural, almost mind out in the third. They gotta take a base somewhere here. They can either go for the bottom left corner, try to take a base that's far away from everything, or they can try to take that center exit that's on their side of the map. Huge GMP on the arbiters. One of them had energy. He missed one, and the other three taken out. Stasis is there. Just going to win enough engagement, but the money EMP sends them back. Very, very nice. Excuse me, from our Terran player here. Looking at supply, Terran's actually taking a supply lead, and then it's very dangerous to be behind in supply. Oh no! Arbiters! Oh, losing 2 arbiters. He does not have money to be able to afford those 2 arbiters right now. I think he's using up 2 states. It's good money. He's be able to get eventually in again. In without energy, stasis. None of them said stasis. You can't fight this. You have the luxury of maybe he'll run out of scan again. Because the science justices are there. In fact, he is scanning just to get a position. And toss. It's just getting shelled down really here. Another EMP hits once again. It's so long, like nearly a full minute before they'll have 100 energy again. This map. I thought that this map was Terran played. Or I think I did. I don't know. I know there were a bunch of Terran players complaining about it. A bunch of Terran players complaining about it, yet literally every game we have seen on this, all 7 of them so far. We've seen 7 games featuring a Terran player. Some of them TBTC. Like, Terrans like this map. They complain about it being awful for them, but they like it. You have 1 arbiter with enough energy. All the other ones don't. 1 arbiter just hit 100. Greatest stasis of his life. Bam! Gets all of the science vessels. Will that be enough? Will that be enough? The scan comes too late. Ooh, man, messing up a little bit there. This late scan means that Zealous can get into position. Dish out all the damage to tanks once they get reach them. Too much damage. Too many siege tanks to spread out. I would love the positioning from on here. His siege tanks are always clustered, yet not clustered in that weird way that there's always 4 siege tanks. And that's the positioning you get as a Terran. You want it to seem like that there's a never-ending siege tanks. You don't want them all clustered up in one spot because it's too easy to hit them. Friendly fire, storms, or another EMP, nice, or storms, or stasis, or whatever. But you don't want them so far away that the stuff can take out a unit of tanks and then back off. It just needs to seem like a never-ending. Here comes the engagement, mine drag into the tanks. Bella's taking a lot of damage. More damage to the tanks. I'm getting a very long message from Javala. I assume it's to the effect of, hey, your mic is too quiet. I wish I could do something about that. Really do. It is in my mouth right now. It's actually kind of bothering me because it's always touching my lips. But that's all I can do. That's all I can do, guys. I'm sorry. God, I hate audio. I like if casting has done anything to me over my long and illustrious career, it has made me wish I could do that. Because I don't have to deal with audio. Like, I just want to be a person who audio doesn't exist. Like, audio? What is that term? I don't understand. Ugh. Anyway. Terran's done their job. Terran put on pressure when he needed to put on pressure. It's pretty much the only way to make that base safe. If he didn't center of the map, I'll take that extra, just it, and have an army in position there. There's no way he'd be able to have a safe bottom left base. He'd be able to have a safe bottom left base, and Protoss would be able to either just walk units down or recall it pretty quickly. But Terran, understanding that, took the high ground position. He played it like matchpoint. God, I love matchpoint. But that's exactly what he did. He took that really dominant center position on the high ground, pushed Protoss around, was able to take half the map behind it. And Protoss doesn't have half the map. They finally took that mineral only, meaning that they're 1 base short, but 1 base behind as the Protoss plays really bad Arbiters fly in, they get one really good stasis off, but the other one's EMP. There was nothing else to stasis, and Protoss has to back off right now. 130 supply, although macroing up quite hard. Just jumped up from 120 to 136. But still, 136 versus 174, that's unwinnable for a Protoss. Protoss needs to figure out some way to turn this around. But I'm not sure there is one. Man, EMPs. EMPs this game have been on the money, and they weren't even hurt the EMPs. Like, I think you saw the difference. Protoss had one really amazing fight in there, and it was a really amazing fight because of stasis. Stasis were a little bit late, mind you, but they came in and they did damage, and Protoss was able to clean it up. But after Science Vessels came out, Protoss hasn't won anything since. Science Vessels have just shut Protoss down so hard. You can Mind Drag into SCVs? We are going to Mind Drag into SCV. No, we're not. Okay. Like, the Zealots just body block the mines. They freaking won a Medal of Honor from the Terran. The Terran's actually just going to give the Zealots a Medal of Honor for jumping on top of the mines in the SCVs. Okay. And... oh. Chance for my drag. He did that on purpose. He did that on purpose. I totally saw that. Okay, Ket, you're gonna lose this game. You're gonna lose this game. I don't know if you ever saw it. You're gonna lose this game, but I saw that. I saw you run your Zealots through mines. You realized there were mines there, and then just tried to purposely drag a mine into SCVs. It got you like 10 kills. It's way too late in the game. You're dead anyway, but I love you for it. I appreciate it. Anyway, Protoss moving out. They're now finally, like what, 10 minutes after this base goes up, mounting aggression on the bottom left. Oh my god, are they not even doing it? He's walking right by it. He doesn't even know. He does not even know. I was thinking he had sentinels over there at some point and it died to the turret, and that's how he knew, but no, he never did. Walks right by it. Oh man, hidden base is pretty strong, you guys. Sends the stasis out to hit the science vessel, but that's way too many siege tanks in the most dominant position you can possibly be on through 1, 2, 3 levels of high ground, on top of overlooking a cliff, just hitting everything. God, this map is so terribly favored. Cliffs are everywhere. I don't know if there's small chokes everywhere. Like, they're really big chokes. But GG. Well played by Nod. Good job. Alright. That's the conclusion of
Alright, so I'm going to head to OPSTL. And hang on, I had this mic muted. So give me a moment. Alright, now I can hear you guys again. So how are you today, sir?
Pretty good.
And I guess you have the reps, so it doesn't really matter who hosts. And yeah, everyone was talking about the mic. Javla wanted to do a sound check. I guess the big issue was people were saying at one moment you were talking like this, and then the next moment you couldn't be here, and then you were loud again, and that kind of thing. So I don't know what you can do about it. I know it's a pain in the ass. And I think you have a new mic coming or something, if I remember what Joblateran said. So hopefully by next week, certainly the week after, this ought to be resolved. Just so viewers know.
Alright. Is the next game up?
What name pass are you using?
Right now it's MP2. Alright. Red.
What's the password?
MP2.
Okay, MP2. All right. Yep. Right, so I am ready when you gentlemen are ready. So here we go.
Alright. In the top right, as the white Protoss, we have SAS Draw. And in the top left, as the green Terran, we have I Am Phasers.
Well, I think we can say that Draw is the favored player here, as he is arguably the best Protoss in the scene, especially when active. Although he has been saying in the Skype group that his Protoss is really not in especially good shape. Like, he's playing a few games with it here and there, but he's been playing a lot more Zerg recently. But most likely still enough to be favored against Phasers, as I think Phasers is only around B- or B.
I would imagine. Now, we did have a chance to see... I'm pretty sure we had a chance to see Phasers last week. In fact, yeah, Phasers was the only player to get a win last week for Team IM. So, actually finding himself in the exact same position he did last time. In that, coming out on Coliseum once again, going up against a Protoss once again, finding his team down 1-0, but his opponent a little bit scarier this time around. Probably not going to send out a random probe into the middle of the map and then not build a pylon and whatnot.
And just like last time we saw him, Draw did come to Coliseum, and he did have a PvT. It was against Russian Terran, I can't remember his name, IFU SPX, which he did end up winning against, won the first engagement, and then did like an infinite recall cycle, and Terran could never really get another base or push out, and got whittled down.
Yeah, he played really strong versus SPX, very impressive.
And we got Cybercore for Draw at normal timing, so pretty standard so far. But again, obviously Protoss builds can diverge a lot from here. Can't really call it a standard build yet. Oh, it's gonna be 10-15, so yeah, not standard at all. Gonna be a lot of heavy goon pressure at the front of Mr. Phasers' base, and he is not walled off, so he will probably need to get a bunker to deal with this.
Yeah. Early regression is going to be pretty effective on this map. I mean, you can make a wall, as we have seen Terran players do in the past, that's completely tight, but what it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that the Dragoons can't pick away at it, and it's really easy for them when it's not on a high ground. And in fact, the Dragoons can take a high ground just walking around, jumping up on that cliff. It definitely is a map that can make Dragoon aggression very scary, and without that wall, you're right. The Protoss is going to be able to just march in. A bunker has to be thrown down, but Gorilla Bunker even be enough if Draw commits heavily to Dragoons here. Do at the very least have an SCV scouting it out. So he knows that there's going to be some pretty heavy units here, and yes, there is a bunker thrown down at the front.
And that's necessary. Hopefully that bunker is out of range of the cliff. That'd be a little annoying if Goon could shoot it from the cliff. And now the only thing you'll have to guard against is the possibility of a run-by. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see him lift his barracks and reposition that to block off sides for a run-by.
Yeah, I'm thinking a run-by is pretty smart from Draw here. Even if he can't get the run-by off before the tank comes out, he's still going to be able to very quickly get in and pick off that tank with the run-by.
Yeah, absolutely. A good run-by can be really devastating. Honestly, if you get 4 or 5 goons by, you can kill several tanks off. And like, we're used to seeing this on like, Fighting Spirit or other maps where the choke is really, really narrow, and there's usually buildings there, so a run-by is like not possible, or it's set up with some cities, so you have to take the long way around and whatnot. But that's not so much the case here. But there's
He isn't making any goons. He hasn't been making any goons for a while.
Oh, okay. Alright, so this is a bit more interesting now. So it looks like what he's doing is one of two things. Either it was 10-15 and he got scattered really fast, so he said, I'm not going to go through with this. Or he's doing some sort of fast Nexus variant that's kind of like derived from the SKT1 build, but a little bit different. But that is pretty interesting. As he's going to have 4 goons for sure at FD timing by far. Actually, Terran's gone ahead and throw down a command center. But he'd have 4 goons at FD timing, so that's pretty good. Although, I don't know if he has range. I guess it would have finished by now. And getting observers.
Yeah, that surprises me from Draw, to be going through observers. I thought that if it just got scouted out and he's like, well, it got scouted, I'm not going to bother doing it anymore, the response would be throwing down the Nexus first. But instead he goes for really, really fast observers. Okay. Well, he is expanding behind this. The expansion's going to be similar, very, very similar timed, in fact, to the Terran's Expo. 10-15 gate, he didn't make many goons off of it, so it's not as if he put himself terribly behind economically. But interesting decisions from Draw so far.
And let's see, yeah, Draw's Nexus is slightly faster than the command center, so he should be in an okay spot economically. I mean, he obviously cut probes a little bit for the 10-15, but probably not terribly. And he's killing off that Sunken to make movement in and out of his choke a little bit smoother.
So, yeah, Terran turned up pretty hard. Was expecting the attack to come in, and then it just never did. It did send a couple of, at least one other SCP scout. Did send in one other SCP scout just to check around and see what was up with the Protoss, but it got picked off immediately. It certainly didn't see the Robo or the expansion or anything like that.
Yeah, the reason he didn't probably go in for the attack is he probably didn't know that Draw had decided to expo behind it, so he was just anticipating 10-15, and pushing out with an FD against 10-15 is just a good way to lose all your stuff. Yeah. So that is my best guess. We got Draw's obs coming in, and then if we look in the main base, it looks like Draw is throwing out 2 more gateways, going up to a total of 4 now. And has the probe there posturing to take a 3rd base.
Does finally manage to find the path in that doesn't fly too much over turrets. The observer, he is getting a good idea of what's going on right now between the 2 observers here. So we're going to scout out the command center coming down, and that's a pretty fast 3rd base from Terran, especially considering that Draw hasn't even. He did just start his third base, so I think he scouted that, then immediately threw down his own. Trying to play catch up to the Terran right now. Draw. That's a decent number of goons, but I really don't think he's going to be able to do anything on this map. Tanks up in the natural, way too strong up here. Ooh, but he might be able to pick off these screws over to the left side. He does have an observer to see it. Would be a pretty risky move to go for it, but it would be really nice to pick off tanks for free right here and delay that 3rd significant.
I'm going to be honest, he's definitely planning to go for it. He's got 4 zealots and a shuttle making back at home. So I think we're going to see some sort of a bust here. The tank spacing is really nice. It's on both sides. They're all on the high ground. And the other thing that's cute about this on both sides is really a kind of lessens the effectiveness of the shuttle, because the zealot bombs aren't going to be around all your tanks. So you're going to kind of have to choose: do I zealot bomb tanks on the left, or do I zealot bomb tanks on the right? Oh, of course, the other possibility is Draw will do like in his match against SPX and come in through the bottom of the 9 o'clock base.
Dropped 1 zealot in the natural and decided, nope, don't want to bother to do that. Picked it right back up again. So the shuttle's been revealed, I guess.
Gotta be careful with these turrets. Drops 1 zealot, drops 2 zealots, drops 3rd, and now the goons are moving in for Draw, who's just gonna rush up here onto this cliff. The obs might die, but there are not that many more mines, and now all the SCVs are pulled, and oh god, 2 tanks running right on top of the goons, and they're gonna go straight a ways down. So this not being adequately handled so far by phasers. Of course, Draw now just kind of sitting here with these goons. We got a lot of SCVs pulled. A good reaction timing on that. Immediately pulled as he went up on the cliff. But now he does have this pressure on top of his 3rd to realize. But Draw seems to recognize the threat and is just kind of keeping his goons out of siege tank range and picking off what he can. Not going to be as disastrous as in the game against SPX, where he's really going to delay the expo, but does get a few SCV kills.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely good damage. I'm actually really surprised that Draw didn't push the issue farther. But I guess the SCVs were just in too good of a position. He didn't want to try to rush down the siege tank. That's now fully repaired in the mineral line. But yeah, definitely picked off some tanks and picked off a lot of SCVs. So successful attack from Protoss there.
And now Draw has a few DTs coming out, 2 DTs actually. So we might see DT Draw, as he did kill off all the turrets up at the natural, although one is going back up, or the third. One is going back up, and it looks like Draw is getting 2 more gateways, so he's going to be on 6 now. Oh, and he's got his Stargate and his Arbiter up over here in the natural, but no Arbiter is making just yet. And yes, Draw is indeed Aether Scarlet to give away mad secrets. Hopefully he won't be too mad. Alright, so we got a 2 Zealot drop here. Depot getting attacked, and 2 DTs now popping out, starting to kill a few SCVs, but there are tanks there to shoot them, so...
Yeah,
looks like he's going to be able to kill a depot. So you're saying you think?
Yeah, I think he's just going to be, I was just going to say that. I think he's just going to be able to pick up the depot and then forced to leave. That tank's a little bit too good of a position. It's not as if he could drop the DTs on top of the tank to pick it off, because there are 4 tanks right behind it.
And I wasn't paying close enough attention, but judging by the fact there's 11 energy on the scanner, I guess he just baited at least 1 scan, so that's kind of nice. Reduced a little bit of the scouting potential for phasers.
Draw now building his getting his 4th base up, and actually already throwing down 1-2 gateways there. You know, that's something that used to be super standard, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've seen that on a lot of PvTs in this league so far. Actually, just building more gateways over at your other bases, something that's very strong to do, and it can be a little bit awkward at first in terms of your macro to not have all your gateways together, but at higher level play, you just gotta be doing this. It's too strong not.
Vultures have found this, but goons are moving into position for draw, so those are quickly turned away from the map. And yeah, it's very common in late game situations, especially at higher levels, to build gateways to other bases. The thing that interests me about this is that those were his 7th and 8th gateways, which is usually pretty fast to start placing gateways at faraway bases.
DT dropping them in. And finding a nice little spot with no turrets.
Yeah, it's going to be obnoxious. And a few zealots might actually get the armory out of this. SCV is being pulled to repair it, but it looks like only one. A scan is thrown down. Armory is getting lower. It is just barely going to hang on. Oh man, by the skin of its teeth.
Wow.
Arguably, Draw should have picked up.
Yeah, he really wanted that. And he was very close to it. Stopping that upgrade, always good. It's not stopping an attack upgrade, which would be a little bit better, but still, stopping any upgrade, always nice to be doing. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, he should have picked up because he wasn't going to be able to get it, but in Draw's position, gone for it. Would have been a really nice thing to hit. Instead, Draw cleaned up, and at the expense of nothing other than a scan.
Yep. And Draw has comfortable supply advantage now. Got about 30 supply leads, so that's a pretty nice spot for Protoss to be. It'll give him plenty of time to max a decent bit before Phasers does, and that'll have time for 4th and 5th bases to kick in and have more gateways at faraway bases.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Pylon wall seems a little insufficient. 3 goons in size, but lots of vultures running by now. Into the area where Draw will eventually want to take his 5th and 6th.
Yeah. Be able to do too much more than lay some mines before Draw. Is Draw not going to come in with the goons to clean it up? I guess he isn't.
He's got 1 there, but I don't think that's going to take care of 8-7 vultures.
Yeah.
And it does die, and yeah, now he comes back. I don't know what happened there. But
Maybe
now
the
returning.
Were just going back because he was waiting for the observer to come in, and he accidentally had 2 goons kind of meandering about in there. Not entirely sure. Anyway, Terran setting up a 4th base, and this 4th base, I feel, is very critical. 4th base should be something that's very hard for Terran to be setting up, and in fact, Draw scouting it out now with the Zealot. There we go. Going to be able to just stop that
Oh, that's
SCV.
annoying, yeah.
But
Might be
if
able to get vultures there in time, but probably not.
if Terran can get one base in the bottom left setup, then they can get all 3 bases in the bottom left setup and can set up a really strong position on the map, which historically is very bad for a Protoss player. I think Draw needs to put on pressure and just make his game plan not let Terran get a 4th base. If Terran doesn't get a 4th base, Protoss will win. But if Terran does get a 4th base, it becomes a lot harder for Draw.
This concerns me a bit. Phasers is pushing out, but the issue here is his supply is a mere 160 against the maxed army of Draw, and that is a very significant supply difference, and there's only about a control group of tanks here. I have a feeling that with a good engagement, Draw's army will likely obliterate this. I'm not sure why Phasers is out on the map without max. I mean, he does have 2-1, but Draw is completely maxed. The one good thing Phasers has going is Draw hasn't yet added a bunch of other gateways, so if he does kill the army, Draw will be a little bit slower than we'd expect to remax or remake army, but although Draw is giving Phasers time, so if Phasers gets a little more supply out, this will be significantly more scary, but it looks like he's going to go around and either counter or look for a better angle he can engage this. Doesn't have so many mines, as once Terran has tons of mines set up in front of their push, you can't attack into it there. Mine's going off though, so Phasers is going to have some idea that Draw is coming around the back.
Draw actually put up a lot of...
And he's moving in. There's no scan right now, so these are undetected now. The vessel moves back into position. Arbiter throws down a pretty nice stasis from the back. And we'll see how this goes. Actually, there's nothing left from Phasers. Yeah, this is just way too small. It's only a control group of tanks. Draw is going to obliterate this. Stasis is his own shuttle in that stasis, probably by accident, but he's just mowed through the army of Phasers. There's a plate of tanks here, but it's going to be a bunch of zealots on top of them. That's where part of his tanks went. So the army well, actually, that was really nice target fire. It gets rid of all the zealots, but there's still going to be enough goons to clean this up. Reinforcements are a little too slow. Oh, he just stasis it all. That works too. The only thing, okay, now it's been interesting because there are 2 fairly significant stasis clumps. One with a lot of tanks. I would think Draw would want to keep his army around that. Whoa, that was a big mine.
Yeah, I think he realizes he has time to clean up this one and then move his army into position to clean up the other.
Nice deep matrix, but tank still goes down. Oh, Draw pulls a goon forward to drag mines into the rest. Now picking off this, and yeah, he's just going to reach all the stasis in time. So very nicely played here by Draw, who's going to clean up entirely the army from Phasers and going to leave him in a comfortable spot, especially since he's built like another 7 or 8 gateways down at the bottom base, and Phasers still stuck on 3 base, and he is in the process of mining out right now. Actually, Draw's goons are not quite going to hold. They do all die to some clutch D-matrices, so Draw does need to get some army over here. And he's got 165 supply. I'm trying to figure out where it is. Maybe a lot of it is in macroing gateways.
Yeah, he does make some speed up. It's not enough here. I don't...
Oh, nice storm. I don't know. Oh, they came from the shuttle that was stasis. How adorable. Alright, so those tanks have been really softened now and might just get shuttle bombed from here. Vulture's running up, but the probes have already been transferred to the gas, so they don't die. And now Draw's army is going to come down from the ramp. I mean, it's a narrow place, but great storms on the tanks. And the zealots coming down the ramps will mop up what remains of this. And that leaves very little supply, just 119 left for Phasers. And more concerningly, Phasers is only just now starting a 4th base. So he's going to be stuck on 1 base economy for a while. And actually, he just GG's right here. Draw to take it and bring it for SAS.
4th base on the wrong side, just to be able to see it. Yeah. I did want to mention in that game that there was a point right before the big battle where Draw was up to nearly 4k points. And on the surface that looked pretty bad, but I do want to say that it's a little different in that case. Draw wasn't able to macro because he didn't have the gateway count. But he didn't have the gateway count, not because he just forgot to make gateways, because he wanted to place his gateways down to the bottom right for all the good reasons he wanted to place gateways down there. But he was stopped by the vultures. The vulture rats and all the mines disrupted him enough so that he had this big surplus of minerals, and it looked kind of bad for a while. But there was no reason why he had them all banked. It wasn't just banked for no reason. and no one can hear me.
Yeah, your mic just kind of, it phases in and out, for lack of a better way of describing it.
Wow. I'm being told by Joplin that it's bad enough that we should just stop casting. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
like I can understand what's being said well enough, probably because I have the privilege of being right here, but I think it's even quieter on stream. And yeah, I can probably lower my mic, but I don't know how much that'll help. Alright, I lowered that as much as I can now. I don't know if IM has any Super Ghost Users. I'm trying to think of their player list, but...
No. There's nobody like up to that level. They have to be in. But it's not like... okay, when I saw that, I and Zeke scanned things up. They have Vivian. And... Vivian. And Rush. It's not Vivian.
Yeah, although there's been some drama, so either drama or like no response. So I don't think anyone knows if Bibian is actually going to show up.
All right, I'm being told by Joplin that I need to resign from this cast. So I started off with a solo cast, but it looks like you're going to be ending with the solo cast.
All right, good luck. Hopefully by next week you'll have the we'll be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya. What's the game name going to be? MP2 again? MP3. Okay. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I can understand why we're using what naming system we're using. Demoted from casting, promoted to mod, I guess, is the situation. All right, so we're going to have him on Outsider, and I believe someone said we have Probert, who's a B- Terran, and I don't know who we have from SAS. But spawning on the left side as our teal Terran, we have IM's Probert and Odir on the, or in the 6 o'clock position. As the white Zerg, we have none other than SAS Michael, who, when fully active, is arguably the second or third best Zerg in the scene, although, I was going to say alongside Technics, although recently the results from True Touch have been very, very good, especially in ZVZ, where actually at one point he 4-0'd Zeke on Icy Cup ladder, but I guess then Zeke cut on as he's won almost all of the recent games since then. But True Touch has looked very solid. He's hit like 23 or 2,400 points on Fish, so it's hard to say. But again, also I don't know particularly the activity of Michael. Obviously, when he played in TLS a couple weeks ago, was not exceptionally active. But we'll just have to see how he's progressing, if he's being more active and whatnot. And Probert is going to make a depot here. I guess we're going to go depot, barracks, depot for a nice tight wall. Yeah, the only reason I don't just say like True Touch second best Zerg for sure is because I've only seen his ZVZ. I know he's been practicing a lot, but I can only recall seeing ZVZ, and I haven't seen him tested against a really strong Terran. Maybe I'm missing a game or two, but either way, he's definitely in good shape and definitely is the most active foreign Zerg in the scene right now. Ending Life saying his ZVT is very good, and ZVP can be good. But yeah, his ZVZ seems really nice. Really good micro in TLS the other day. And Michael is going to be doing some 9-pool speed. I guess that's not... Actually, I don't know if that was 9-pool speed. That might be overpool speed. Or overpool gas, just fast layer. Or it could have even been 12-pool. I should have been watching the build a little bit closer. Which 12-pool would be like super fast 2H meter. They'll hit at like 6-minute marker a little bit faster. Alright, so pool is done, and yeah, he's mining gas and didn't make a ton of early links, so I'm pretty sure we're just going to see layer, although we'll just have to wait and see. Be a bit interesting if he gets speed here. He's got enough minerals. Nothing immediately happening, so I'm pretty darn sure it's going to be layer. Has the gas, has 150 minerals. Do we see a layer being made? There we go. It is indeed layer. So we're going to have some 2-hatch meta aggression here from Michael, and that was just like common on this map. Also common on this map was Guardian play for defense, because when they come to attack, you just put down a bunch of sunkens, put Guardians over these big cliffs, and you can defend and attack really easily. And Ling's now going to run up to the wall, and we got Factory. Okay, so this could be interesting if we see Wraith against, not that it couldn't just be Factory play, but if we see Wraith against 2-hatch meta. I don't know if Wraith works against 2-hatch meta though. The timings, it's obviously fine against 3-hatch meta, but I don't know how the timings hit, especially against these ultra fast 12-pool 2-hatch. Got an Overlord coming out, droning up a little bit in the meantime, and a few Lings poking at these. Zergling's going to force Michael to run down the ramp, and the Vulture starts in the factory, so he will need at least a sunken. Muta don't come fast enough for sure to defend that first Vulture. And now the SCV coming down here to the natural. He's just going to expand. Okay, so a Vulture expand? Alright, that means we'll probably see Goliath or something. But that commenced their third down very, very quickly. And there's the creep colony for Michael. Only thing I was a little bit worried because it doesn't really defend the bottom, but this is a pretty tight choke. And if he adds another building for SimCity, he'll be totally fine. We've got the Spire now. We can see already it's only 4 minutes and 30 seconds in this game. We've got a halfway complete Spire. So again, Muta comes super, super, super fast. The Armory is just now started. He'll probably have 2 Goliaths out. Might be close to 4. And the Vulture has snuck by, which I always thought was a possibility. This could do a lot of damage to Michael. And good control so far from Probert, and just as I say that, the Vulture gets surrounded and dies. I missed the drone kill count on that. Looking at the... well, it's too late to see the blood. I don't know. The Spire is getting very near completion. Alright, so the Armory's done. We only have 1 factory, though. He's going to need eBay for sure. He's got a second factory going up, so he's going to have very, very, very low Goliath count. Yeah, that was really fortunate for Michael. That Vulture didn't do more damage. That easily could have killed, 7 or 8 drones, which actually would be bad enough to totally affect. In fact, it appears this alone may have affected his meter production a little bit, as he only has 2 on the way, and making an Overlord, and only has the money. He's not able to hatch up as many as he would have liked. Probably the result of having to make the sunken and pull all those drones off the line to defend the Vulture, as it was almost all of his drones for probably 15 or 20 seconds. So that's going to allow the time for Probert to have a couple Goliaths out. In fact, he'll be pretty close to range and have turrets. So I don't think Michael's going to do a lot of damage with this, which isn't good when you're opening really low eco Muta aggression. So I think Probert is going to find himself in a good mid-game position here against Michael. So here we go. It's only 3 mutas though, so it's not very scary, especially against 3 Goliaths. He can tickle some buildings and get some scouting information, but really, I don't think he can commit to any harass. I'd honestly be a little bit surprised if he continues to make a bunch of muta. as there's just going to be too many Goliaths out. And I mean, range is going to finish here shortly, almost before he gets any more Muta joining up. He does pick up an SCV building a turret at the wall, and his Expo is up and running nicely. And I was going to say, I wonder if he's glitzed the drone over, but nope. Alright, so it's going to fly around in the back of the base, but the Goliaths are right there. They do have range now. Muta actually engaging the Goliaths. I mean, he does kind of need to do damage with this. Picks off one Goliath, but he is taking a lot of shots, grabbing a few SCVs, which actually do seem to be pretty low in number in the main base. Oh man, Michael not with the best Muta micro at all. Doesn't even seem to have enough to one-shot SCVs, which is no good at all. And now the Muta forced to fly away. A few more coming out to rejoin them. And in the meantime, what is he doing? He is just making Muta only. Man, this is going to be tough. Lots of Goliaths. He's going to get way behind here unless he somehow finds a way to do a bunch of damage. Michael's like the second or third best Zerg in the scene when active. Much better than C+. Unless that was just a troll comment and I misread it. If that was a serious question, serious inquiry, then no, he is more like A or A+ or whatever. Alright, so now Michael is going to switch back into drones, try to start getting some economy back into this game. But again, it's going to be a pretty uphill climb. The Mutas just aren't going to do any realistic damage. Goliath's an equal count to them, supported by turrets, not much going to happen. See a starport going up now for vessels. Alright, yeah, I misinterpreted what you said. Fair enough. I should know better. It's Awa I'm talking to. Alright, so Muta coming back around the top. Goliaths get off a bunch of shots, and basically, again, it just, once they have range and decent in number, you can't really harass against them. You can kind of float in for scouting information, but actually committing to harass just doesn't work. No, there's definitely no +2 carapace. There's definitely no upgrades on these Muta. Although carapace +1 is being researched. And now Michael's taking his third base. I guess there's a mine there, as he does clear something out near the Overlord. And we got third base going up for Michael. And I'm trying to get a feel for the economy of both players. Looks fairly good, although maybe not quite as saturated as we'd expect for the 9-minute mark from Probert, but he is making SCVs quite nicely. Mike adding a second sunken. And once there's a tank or two in here, though. Whoa, Muta flying back in, picking off the turret. The Goliaths are a bit out of position here. Only two are coming back, which is not enough to defend the whole stack. Although perhaps with the support of a turret, it is enough to chase them away. There we go. Now he's getting a little bit of damage and picking off a few SCVs. Delays the second armory, delays the science facility. And thinking about moving out. Honestly, though, with tanks and siege, this is going to be a problem to hold. As long as he has enough Goliaths to deal with the Muta, the tanks will just range down the sunken colonies with no difficulty. Yeah, this is first clan war. And Michael now has this backdoor hatchery with access to gas. That's smart, glitching it through to have that. We don't see... Yeah, we don't see any add-on for drops or anything like that. So, no threat of that location being dropped. And again, goes in, picks off that turret. Opens up a hole, does a little damage here, picking off a few SCVs, only taking a few minor turret shots, denying that again. So he's being pretty obnoxious here, and actually now we see a commitment towards the armory. I don't think it's worth it with repair. He's getting it low though, but again, in the end, forced to run away. Does not actually lose a Muta in the process, but many going low on health, although if he stays here, if the Muta return to fight, okay, he has him on hold position, and he does run away now. No accidental suicide. And I am not the one in control of the obsing. That is Sir Puka. So if we're missing game music, he could turn on a little game music if he wants to for the obsing. So that's there in the background. And Michael now getting +1 range attacks. We are going to see kind of the standard transition, which is to get out some Hydra. He's getting Hydra range as well. And it looks like the army from Probert is be a little bit more intimidating. He's got 4 tanks, quite a few Goliaths, and no Hydra out yet from Michael. I assume production. Yeah, we got Hydra production starting right now. Michael about 20 supply down, which isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's still not ideal. And it looks like Probert is going to move out onto the map. So here we go. The question is, can Michael hold this intimidating attack off? Whoa, Muta flying over a bunch of Goliaths. They need to run away from that. We've got more Sunkens going down, which will buy him more time to get out this Hydra, which he desperately needs. His range is actually only half done right now. And here come the tanks, which are actually really vulnerable. If Mike would have seen that, he could have actually picked off 1 or 2, and he might go for 1 over the cliff. He should get 1 out of this. Yes, he does get 1. Might get a second. They're very exposed. Muta taking tons of damage. Tanks very exposed. Now sieging up at the front, and will begin to shell away at these sunken colonies. And if they do go down, the situation is not going to look too pretty for Mr. Michael, although Michael does have good saturation now, or better saturation over at his 3rd base. He's not taking his 3rd gas yet, though. And these Muta are actually causing major issues. They've picked up almost all the tanks, and it looks like Probert now committing with the Goliaths, which might be worth it. Michael has hit the Hydras. He's going to have a lot of Hydras pouring out, and it's down to just 1 tank, although the Hydras are not kind of coming in a line. Will it be enough to hold? If it does, Michael can definitely get back into this game. The Muta trying to force the tank down, but there is a repair there. The tank does go down. It is now Hydra against Goliath. Michael will inevitably clean this up, and now he is going to find himself in perhaps a little bit more stable mid-game position. A very crucial hold there. Had he not sniped those tanks, I'm almost certain he would have died. So sloppy control by Probert there, allowing Michael an opportunity to stay in this game more than expected. Mike's minerals a little out of control, though. They're at about 800. Probert nice and low. Has another army amassed, though. And Mike now on 3 hatch, 4th hatch, but the 4th hatch is kind of backdoor, so he can't really produce units from it, ground units from it to defend. Of course, all the Mutas are dead, so now he doesn't have as easy of a recourse to get rid of the tank, and Probert is going to start taking the top right 3rd and settle in for a little bit longer game. There's the transfer of SCVs to the backdoor expansion. Command center is up, and that will put Probert onto 3 bases. He's adding a 5th factory. I've not seen a vessel yet either. In fact, he doesn't even have the add-on yet to the starport. So just looking for upgrades. Will Muta fly in, taking a lot of Goliath hits. That was a beautiful arc. And we've got some mines being laid now to assist with Hydra counterattacks. Got 2-1 for Probert, and on Michael's Hydras we have 1 attack, 0 carapace. What is he getting next? Getting another round of attacks. He's going to be going up to +2 attack. No change in the carapace. And actually, Probert is expanding everywhere, man. He's also taking a 4th base at his mineral-only backdoor. And 119 supply against 100 from Michael. And that's pretty cute. Gonna siege down hatchery. He will not be able to siege down this backdoor hatchery, but he's gonna deny Michael from getting a 4th gas, which is pretty nice. And the hatch unfortunately finishes. Muta coming back now to save it, but the the Goliath support is there, so he's not gonna be able to save that hatchery whatsoever. Larva can't, or maybe killed by the tank. I'm not actually sure. I think it's, I don't know. But down goes the hatch. And Probert is going to be getting into a pretty scary position, to be honest. If he gets too big of a mech army, Muta Hydra doesn't work that well. And Michael is starting to get out a decent number of Hydra, but if the tank count is really high, then problems will definitely be had. And Mike is doing maybe a little bit of a counterattack still on his lair attack. Flying in, going to try to pick up these tanks at home, and now the massive counter is going to commence. The second tank does go down, and the army is going to need to scramble to get back in position, as the Hydra are easily going to bust through the defense that are at the front, getting awfully close to these Hydra. Now sieging up with the front two tanks, just going to go straight, and probably the third as well, if targets it, which he does. And now all of a sudden he's got Hydra fighting Goliath. Probert needs better control here. The command center is being targeted. It is holding on, but is not going to hold on sufficiently. Although that will spell the end of these forces for Mike. Vita perhaps going to run into the main. All the Hydra are dead at the price of a command center and 4 tanks. Which, getting a command center is nice, but there's 2 other bases out there, which still leaves him with 3 mining bases. I guess Michael's only 3. And the supply still solidly favors Probert here. And now Probert moving back out onto the map. Vita flying around here. What do we have over here? Overlord, but seemingly no drop. So he has spotted that base exists. The meter going to counter there. There's only 1 turret, so that's actually going to be really nice for Michael. Now he's going to shut it down to 2 mining bases. SCVs are going to have to flee. Will not hold on immediate action there. And honestly, the command center even will have to lift. And Goliath will need to go back to defend this. With this building layout, that's going to take a while. There's a chance this command center is going to die, which is really going to change Probert's position quite a bit, as that will leave him on only 1 mining base at the moment. Command center getting lower on health, and down it goes. Muta Hydra is good against mech up to a point, but when it gets in too large of numbers, it's pretty hard to make work. Honestly, Probert's playing a very interesting, kind of super active game. Constant moving around the middle of the map, Protoss style. I guess that's due to the mobility of Michael's Mutalisk, and that is like 2 control groups. And there are enough turrets here to deal with this. Certainly this base is going to have issues. We'll need canceled. And at the same time, Probert is going to commit to the attack. Michael immediately reacts. And here we go. Round committed attack from Probert. There's a few more tanks in. There's a lot of Goliaths. We'll see how well Hydra whittle down the numbers. Michael opting to engage in a place where he probably can't afford to. The Hydra at the front will go down. Here come the Muta from the back. So the question just is are there enough Goliaths? We've got 2 upgrade on the Muta against 2 attack upgrade from the Goliaths, and it's starting to look like there could be enough Muta, especially with the Hydra support. If all the Goliaths down, then the tanks are just sitting naked, and I don't see reinforcements coming across the map. This is very close. I think the Muta are just slightly going to come out ahead. Yes, they do. And now everything has to unsiege and run away. And again, Probert is stopped at the door. And now the situation might not be as good for him. Michael has established the 4th gas over here. But still a 30 supply lead. Where are the reinforcements? So he's going to lose all these tanks if he does not do this. 3-2 though for Pro. Now the Muta are finally turned away and having to run away. And the 4th gas going out from Michael. We still do not see a high transition. It looks like he's going to play, continue to play Muta Hydra. And again, the Muta going up here, abusing their mobility. Honestly, against this Muta Hydra late game style, I really think he needs to put up a lot of turrets or something, as he is constantly having to run his army desperately everywhere across the map, and Goliaths aren't exactly the fastest walkers. Their AI is almost as bad as Dragoons. And yeah, indeed, more turrets are going up. Goliaths coming over, picking off that Overlord in the main for scouting. And now Michael is moving up here with a bunch of Hydra. Well, not a bunch, but like a control group. Although there's an Overlord to see the mines. So we're going to see a bit of a committed attack, but that is a ton of tanks, so this cannot do anything. Needs to turn around. Needs to turn around, and he does. Does lose some of those Hydra, though. Takes a few hits on his Muta, softening those guys up. And now a supply lead for Probert. And actually, Probert has glitched, or not, he doesn't even have to glitch, but he's made a backdoor commence and you're trying to get access to even more gas. Kind of interesting expansion patterns here. I don't necessarily know if I agree with it, as he's taking all these backdoor expansions when he doesn't have air dominance. Michael trying to clear out all the turrets in the main. Some Goliaths coming back to defend, but is it enough? Yeah, probably barely it'll be enough. And here come the rest of the army Goliaths, and gonna finally to meet out, but again, at his top base, if it gets discovered, it can just be killed off. Nice intercept here. Michael flying over all the Goliaths. Definitely can't commit this fight and has to run away. Fortunately, flying over Goliaths is not quite as devastating as flying over Marines. The DPS is just not quite as insane. And now Pro is at 170 supply against just 110 for Michael. If he gets this whole army together, this might be a little too much army for Michael to deal with right now. His meter count isn't that big, although the army's kind of all over the place and not that sieged up. Tanks are actually on walk move, dying to Hydra. Goliath shooting, but will it be enough stuff? There's still one there. Goliaths are microing back away from the meters, trying to get favorable shot positions. Hydra running into some mines, taking a lot of damage. Where is the rest of this? It's supposed to be 160 supply army. I don't know where it's at. And Michael, GG's. So wow, Probert stopping one of SAS's strongest players thanks to an poor economic start. So huge win right there for IM. Huge win. Now we're going to have Game 4 on Overwatch. I can't see the overlay, so I don't actually know who the players are yet. But you guys probably do, and I am ready whenever you are, Puka. Yeah, Outsider's always fun to watch games on. And Overwatch is the other new map by, what do you want to call them? Foreign map makers. It's a two-player map, spawns top left and bottom right. And I'm ready when you are, Puka. Whenever you want to pull the trigger, we can get into this. Game number 4. Yeah, Heckle was having problems with his mic. It'd be like this at one point, and then it'd be like this. So then it would be like this. You know, it's just kind of, we're seeing it sound like it was like song effects or something like that, from like a dance song. So spawning in the top left-hand corner, as our Teal Protoss, we have another strong player in SAS, and that is SWBI, also known as Lopedog. And in the bottom left-hand corner, as our blue Protoss, we have Hope, who's a player I know nothing about. I don't even know if that's his main name. I have no idea how good he is either. And I've yet to see PvP on this map. In fact, it feels like every game I've seen has been a PvZ. Oh, Hope talent? Oh, okay. Alright, alright. I don't actually know what Beggar's max rank is, but he seems to get fairly solid results. SWBI is probably the stronger player here, but I don't know. Talent is somewhere between, you know, like B- and maybe B+, I would think. But I don't really know. I do know he's featured, so almost certain that he's at least B- in skill level. I'm not sure. Have any streamers at C+ made it to featured status? Because I don't think so. I think there's been a few, like Sale, who's made it to featured players, B-, Shrinkers B-, Folds B-, but I don't know if we've had any players worse than that actually get featured. And yeah, Talent plays a lot of fish. All right, so we got Probe Scouts at the same time for both players. In fact, they're basically going to kiss each other right in the middle. And it looks like gas gate, or gate gas. So now we just got to see if either player is going to opt to build a first zealot. It's a possibility here. We got first zealot from both players. No, S&M and me and Hacklebeast, we're all featured, but we are featured other, not featured player. So, like, you couldn't count me as a featured streamer either, and I don't show up under players. I show up under featured other. All right, so should see cores now soon. Where's the core? There's the core, and there is also the core. The other one should probably be featured as Zero too. Although, as much as he plays, he doesn't stream it all the time, but Zero is quite good these days. Alright, so we got Zealots coming out from both gateways. So, pretty typical stuff, Zealot, Core, Zealot. Very standard openings for both players. Obviously, Scouting Probe's still alive, as those guys will not die until Dragoons come out, unless someone really makes a mistake. Talent just get a hit off on Desakwe's probe. And there we go, we got cores finishing. So first goons should be starting fairly soon here from both players, yes indeed. And we got range, and range started, so really identical play so far. And now we'll just have to wait and see what the tech patterns are going to be, which won't really be revealed until the probe is chased out. The map is ramped, so tech gate is a fine option. You don't have to do 2 gates before your tech if you don't want to, although Beggar's going to do that. And it appears the probe is now dead, so now Beggar can go ahead and drop whatever tech he wants, and Talent is able to get his probe out alive. And Talent going to move across the map here, do a little scouting, a little poke with his army, try to get a feel for what the game plan is for Desakwe, and it is going to be Robo. And still waiting on tech, or are we? Yeah, still waiting to see what Talent's tech is. He's on 2 gates, so that does slow the tech just a little bit. Alright, so there is second gateway. And it is going to be 2-gate Robo from a Talent. So, very similar builds. The only difference is it's gate Robo gate from Desakwe versus gate Robo from Talent, which means that Talent will have a marginally higher goon count, and Lobe Dog will have slightly faster tech. Alright, so we got the Robo facility about to finish. We got goons coming out. Really not too much to talk about here. I guess I'm gonna take a look at the map and try to see where you'd engage. So you've got the narrow bridges as you move out, or you can move up over this high ground ridge, which would make a good stalling point. I doubt Goon Reaver can be effective across the bridge, so you have to come over the high ground so the other Protoss can go sit and kind of force you to come up the high ground, get a few favorable shots off, slow the Reaver, and so on and so forth. Oh, and this is cute. Talent has a nice little sneaky probe here, but there's no expansion quite yet, so he won't see much, as the ramp is still being defended from Desakwe, who now comes down to go pick off that probe. Talent's got a shuttle out. He feels confident enough that he can go ahead and skip OBS, so he's going to go straight to Reaver. Whereas that is not the case for Tasakwe is going to go ahead and get Obs first. Has his Robo coming now. We should see that Reaver here starting very soon. Reaver almost done for talent, and we do have a Nexus from Lokedog, who's just going to crawl the Reavers on down for the expansion here. Although talent has skipped Ob, so that's going to allow his Reaver attack to hit pretty quick, and it looks like he's going to go at just one Reaver. And talent now moving up here. He's fighting, though, without his Reaver. That is a bit odd. Loses a Goon for free. That is certainly less than ideal. Now the shuttle coming up, but it's going to be one Reaver against a Reaver. The only advantage Talent's going to have here is the mobility. So with good control of the shuttle and target firing, he can get rid of the Reaver fairly quickly, but definitely appears outnumbered in Goon count. Let's see here. We got 4, we got 8 versus 9 or 10 from Skyline. So Talent's going to need really good control if he wants to break through here. Of course, his Nexus is much slower, but unfortunately moves too far in front with the shuttle. Is able to drop the Reaver in time, but is not close enough to target fire, and it looks like the Sakwe is just kind of eating this up right now, although actually all of a sudden now it looks even, and the Sakwe moves forward aggressively, but great Reaver pickup here by Talent, who's doing a lot of damage, and he might also pick off the Reaver now. Up to Sakwe, is getting very low on health, down it goes, and Talent has sort of broken through, but he does not have reinforcements, so this attack may stall out, but he definitely has an opportunity now to harass or maybe continue pushing in here, being aggressive. He could snipe the Reaver using his shuttle, although with one Goon out, there is some defense possibilities. Here we go, second shot. Reaver runs away, shuttle goes down. He will snipe the Reaver, but of course with the shuttle dead, it's going to be a Reaver trade for a Reaver. So I think all in all, that's quite okay for Tasakwe. Talent coming up with 2 Goons, but there's 2 Goons out right now from Tasakwe as well, although one's very low on health. Probably should pull that one back. Talent only just now transferring probes out to his expansion. And yeah, he does health one back, so nice job there. And if we look at the situation, we can see supplies pretty equal, but Tasakwe is going up to 5 gates. Talent is adding 2 more, but Tasakwe's already got 3 going to 5. Talent is only going to 4 because of his expansion timing. And oh, speed shuttle. Who's got speed? Who did I click on that has speed coming? Looks like Talent is going to be getting speed shuttle. Possibly thinking harass as his line of play for getting a little bit back in the game. If he can pick off, 10-15 probes, that easily puts him back into a comfortable position. And what do we have here? We have some Zealots, some Goons, but there's no Citadel yet. Or is one of these buildings here a Citadel? No, it's pylons. Oh, Ob's getting sniped down at the natural of Talent. And will he get it? Oh, he's going to get away with the skin of its health? Yes, just barely. Tasakwe's Ob, so he has gotten a full scout now off on everything. Knows exactly what the game plan is. And there we go, we have Forge and Citadel now after 5 gates. Oddly enough, it is actually Talent that holds a supply lead. That is pretty damn surprising. Perhaps it's because Sakwe's investing into some of this other tech, but that really surprises me. As that was a way faster expansion. Perhaps the trading just a little more favor for Talent in that first engagement. And Talent looks like he has 5 and about 15 Goons and 2 Reavers. I don't know where Lokedog's on. He's got 2 over here. Lokedog appears to have nothing compared to Talent. Honestly, that is really, really alarming. Talent with a 10 supply lead moving out now with his shuttle. Of course, when you move out like this, oh, there is speed for Tasakwe too. don't know when he got it. So both players have speed. So this shuttle with Talent moving out has lots of damage potential. This could be some really great harass, which means that Talent's going to need his attack to work. Reavers are dropped. The response is pretty slow, but Scarabs are dumb enough that the slow response turns out to be okay. Still has to worry about being harassed, but we have a major attack coming in, and it's only one Reaver defending at home, and Talent with a far superior goon advantage. Here we go, moving in, the two Reavers, target downing the Reaver of Lokedog, it goes straight down. Talent will not be able to pick up one of his Reavers, but he just has way more stuff. The Sockway is forced home. This Reaver, though, is doing a number on Talent's mineral line. He's going to be left with very little eco if this attack fails, so it's very important right here for Desakwe to hold. He can still be in the game if he holds. There's a cannon there. Reaver kind of derping out. Scarabs being built from this other Reaver, and absolutely Talent losing everything at home at this point. This is getting dangerously near all in, and at least needs to kill the probes here in the natural to make this come out even, but it looks like Talent is pushing through at the moment. Now the Reaver's in the natural. It gives off another shot. The shuttle barely escapes with his life, and Talent is breaking through, though. The transfer away, the Nexus will go down, but Talent is left with just 6 or 7 probes. This game just got interesting. Probes are drilling like mad. Actually, no, they're not. Now they're being transferred back, but Talent is up the ramp over the gateways, has a Reaver still alive, although that may change if the reaction isn't quick enough, and it just barely is quick enough. Gets back in, but Talent might have it with his position over the gateways. He can actually take the Reaver and kill off some of the probes if he wants. I think he's going to be alright. Should be able to snipe this Reaver before it gets Scarabs, if he makes that a priority. There's actually 2 Reavers here defending. I don't know if Desakwe holds with all his eco intact. Talent loses, and the Nexus has not been killed. He's got to at least kill these probes with the Reaver or something. Here's the probe pull, and the Scarab goes off. A few of them are dying, though. And now there's 4 goons, 2 Reavers left for Talent, 2 Reavers sitting at the top of the base. If there's a lot of goons in production, there's DT in production too, that is going to be a lovely deer. Now it is down to just 2 goons, so Desakwe is going to push Talent back out, and now is it a nice supply lead. Talent has a few more goons coming up, but that DT is a major issue. There's not an OBS at home. There is an observatory, but there's not an OBS. Talent moves right in. Wow, he gets right on top of the Reaver. That goes down fast. So again, we got more crazy defending. This game is insane at this point. But the DT is going to force Talent away, and of course there's the second DT coming over here. I think he's anticipating it. There must be an OBS in production now. But will it be in time? Oh god, he's making a Reaver. Oh dear. Oh dear. Probes are immediately forced to run, and the situation looks bleak for Talent, who just a second ago seemed to be in a good position. That is like 7 or 8 probes eco left, whereas the eco is still... Actually, the eco is pretty hurt for Desakwe too, and now we got Reaver harass from Talent at the same time. DT over here in the natural minerals, waiting a long time for this OBS though. Oh, and now there's 2, so Talent is going to be eco-less. Absolutely eco-less at the end of this. And Desakwe is going to have a way better eco. I think Desakwe is going to be your winner. I don't see the counter doing anything. Desakwe's got enough army out now. Won't be able to reinforce if he wants to build any more probes. The DT is finally sniped here. There is the other DT. Did it die too? I guess it died. But Talent has 2 probes. And I think Desakwe is going to be your winner despite some very nice play from Talent. If he'd only had an OBS at home, I'm certain that would have been Talent's game. But alas, it was not to be. And now we'll have one last final battle, and as long as Desakwe doesn't do something like a move goon... Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. And there's the GG. For a 5k mineral deficit, that was a really, really close game. There were multiple moments there where Desakwe was on the edge of elimination and staved it off. So SAS leads 3-1. And now it'll be time for Game 5. I don't know who is playing yet. We'll be on Tau Cross. Last time, oh no, that was LRM. I was going to say without Dragon, but Dragon is LRM. I'm ready whenever you are, Puka. Feel free to start the countdown. Here we go. 2, 1. Let it begin. So, spawning in the top right-hand corner as the blue Zerg, we have Widowkiller, who, again, I don't know how good he is. And in the bottom position at the 6 o'clock base, we have Sass's Loot, also known as Metal X. He is a B- Terran player. And if he can get it done here, he will close out the deal for Sass. Oh, yeah, Widowkiller might be Modesty. I think you're right. Alright, so obviously Widowkiller here is very, very favored. As it's A- against B-. But once you get to this level, I mean, it is possible for kind of everybody to take games off everybody. Just builds and the way things diverge, mistakes can be made, and you know, it just happens. Like if you're playing D against like C-, the D player never really wins, because even if he gets ahead, the macro and other things aren't good enough that he can secure the win from there. So wait, who am I thinking of that's A-? I'm thinking of Zaraki. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so not quite as big of a skill gap as I thought. So my bad. But Lumix is like B- max. But yeah, I forgot that Modesty was only B+. I was thinking of Zaraki that is hit A-. Alright, so we got Hatch going down here. It's going to be 12th Hatch heading out to Scout. And Barracks going up. And SCV is going to scout over towards the 9 o'clock position here. As is the Overlord, so they're both going to find each other last, but the Drone Scout's going to find out. Confirm that things are going well. Unfortunately for Lumix, he's not going to find him first, so he's not going to be able to just throw down the CCC with no Marines. And there's Pool. He'll have to make a couple here. We'll see how few he gets away with, or if he just feels confident. It's 12th Hatch and just does 1 Marine expand anyway. He's saving up quite a well. You're going to save up money anyway, obviously. You're only producing off 1 barracks. He's sitting out here, waiting, and it looks like he's just going to confidently drop the command center, praying that it's not 9-po or anything of the sort. I don't think there's anything he would have scouted. Maybe the timing of the drone going out at that time would have suggested to him that it's 12th Hatch, and that's why he went ahead and did one Marine expand, as this is a non-ramp map, and would be a little bit intimidating to just go ahead and expand off 1 Marine if you didn't know it wasn't going to be like overpool or 9-pool speed or something, as it's going to be awkward to defend this choke. I mean, you can still do it with SCVs and whatnot, but not as comfortable as doing it on a nice ramp map. And gas mining has started here. So it looks like we're just looking at the normal 3-hatch play for Modesty, and Lumix so far playing 1 racks expand, getting the 2nd rack. So again, no +1 5 racks. Honestly, it's kind of surprising. We have seen precious little +1 5 racks in STL so far. Whereas in Gambit's Cup and the last season of TLS and whatnot, it's... Oh, never mind, that's eBay. Okay. That's a bit interesting. Okay, this is... I don't know what this is from Lumix. If you're going 5 racks +1, it's usually 1 racks, and then the eBay is super quick, and then the +1. But if you get 2 racks, you usually get the Academy right after that. But this is 2 racks into eBay, so a little bit different than some of these standard variants we have here. Alright, so we've got drones coming out and a really, really, really fast carapace. Like, that is a super fast carapace, my word. So, never mind, we don't have standard play, and we're definitely gonna have a slower lair. Actually, the lair's over here. I take that back. So, I guess he's gonna sack a meter or 2 in return for faster carapace. And we do have +1 started pretty quickly, but it's not as fast as it would be if you went 1 racks eBay. And we do have the Academy now, thankfully. Hopefully we'll see upgrades starting at that thing soon. So far, no upgrades though. There we go. And we're gonna add 2 more racks. So this is, I don't know, to me this feels like a combination variant. I'm making 2 fire bats actually. It's like slightly slower upgrades, but slightly faster barracks. It's kind of like a mixing of +1 5 racks and normal 2 racks Academy. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what this Alpha PDA reference is. I can only assume it's something to do with how Alfio thinks about Brood War, but... Alright, so we obviously don't have +1 carapace done yet, but it's pretty far in. Got the spire going. I wonder with fast carapace like this if he could go for ultras really fast. As, obviously, if he gets those upgrades, they're going to have ridiculous upgrades compared to the Marines, which means the Marines will essentially just tickle them. And now we have a move out... here, okay, there are medics. It's a little bit odd to move out without medics. There is only 1 sunken morph. Definitely needs to get that second thing now. Some lings here in position for, I was going to say maybe a backstab, but it looks like he's moving position first around. He will get a scout off on this, and that is going to be a lot of hidden lings, but there is no speed at all. So they're going to be very immobile. Oh god, this is only just started morphing. If he runs in here, oh, he's not going to run in though. Oh man, this could be so close. He's trying to bait out the Zerglings and figure out where they are. He finds some of them. Forced to run away, but that will allow time for the Sunkens and the Mutas to hatch. And honestly, this force with the Muta out now probably just needs to go home. But he is going to stay out here, and with that many Muta, the possibility of getting badly Muta-linged is a serious concern. Oh, well, I was going to keep this force out here and go deny, but we're going to have Muta coming in now. Appears to be only 5 or 6 so far as a result of the money spent on carapace. Does pick off a turret, no problem though. And now returning with this Marine medic, the Overlord will see it though. And yes, he appears to be flying home. This Overlord is going to go down. And will we see the attempt at busting these Sunkens? Probably not. Oh god, the Muta fly directly over them. That's 2 down, 3 down. Make that 3 down. But many of the Muta now, 2 of the Muta are very low on health. Down to critical red health, so not much left there in terms of the Muta. But we are going to have a lot of lings with some wonderful carapace upgrade advantage. Actually, I take that back. It's going to be equal to the Marines, but it won't be the usual relatively fast upgrade advantage. Yeah, when someone calls you hacker, it's basically a compliment. All right, here we go. Muta-ling attack coming in. The lings do have equal upgrades to the Marines, so the Marines won't shred them as easily as possible, but he does get back into the choke and pulls everything together nicely, so the lings are forced to back off and retreat. And we got factory coming up. Still no 3rd base. Oh, from Modesty. We actually have 2 base hive. And a pretty quick, obviously, 2nd carapace given the quickness of the 1st as well. So what is he going to try? 2 base Ultra? 2 base Defiler? Kingdom makes a Muta, trying to use Muta-ling support to hold off these Marines and medics. And the starport going up now for our Lumix. The hive is done, so why the hive? Drone revealed to me. Oh, okay, it is. Yeah, so the fast carapace into Ultra. So if he doesn't die beforehand, these Ultra... Well, he's only on 2 gas, so he can't get a ton of them. But if he saves some gas, these Ultra could be problematic once they get the armor, once they get the Ultra armor upgrade, because that'll be, what, 4 carapace Ultras against 1 attack Marine, so the damage from the Marines will be really pretty insignificant against that. And the Ultras will be very, very hard to take down. Pretty nice media control there, though. And I've got Adrenal going down for the Lings, too, so they're going to be more dangerous than before. With that Ultra super deadly fast attack. Alright, so we've got the Ultra Cavern up. We do have the Carapace starting. But this army looks ominous. If this gets here before the Ultras are out, it's definitely enough to break through. I mean, there's going to be Adrenal. And there is going to be 2 Carapace soon, but... Oh man, more Muta taking damage. And Lumix is getting closer and closer to the base. Oh, kills the drone off. I was going to go make a third. There's all going up on the left side of the map, though, too. A bunch of Lings getting sniped down here, forced to run away. Oh, 1 armor. Okay, 1 armor's going to finish. That's different, though. And, oh man, lots of Lings are dying. Suddenly things are looking a little bit ominous for Modesty. There's 1 Ultra out. There's 3 Sunkens in the front. But Lumix might be able to bust through here. It is just 1 slow Ultra. Here comes the Mutaling flank. Is it sufficient? It's hard to say. It might just be sufficient. The Sunkens are doing lots of damage. No, Lumix holds. The front is going to go down, and GG. Lumix holds that. Looked close for a second, but SAS is your 4-1 winner. I thought for Crazy Zerg you get like 4 bases or something, like 4 gas, and then go like Ultra or whatever. The Marines got close. To talk about the Marines got close to the base, and Widow Killer Modesty engaged, but everything was slightly mistimed. It was a good flank, but in the end, the Marines were just too imba. And the 3 Sunkens were insufficient to get the job done. Pragu, he did do that, but I thought Crazy Zerg tends to get like 4 bases or whatever. Alright, so I guess we're going to be back to MP1 now for our next set of games.